What's happening, guys? It's Abhinav from PhoneBunch, and this is our first look at the Meizu M3 Note. In this video, we'll also be talking about Flyme 5 and its top features. So folks, Meizu today announced the M3 Note in India, priced at just Rs 9,999. And with that, you're getting 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of onboard storage, a 5.5-inch 1080p display, MediaTek Helio P10 octa-core processor on board as well. We'll talk about the rest of the specs as we go along, but let's talk about build now. So you have a metal unibody construction here. On the right you can see the volume rocker as well as the power button. Both are sturdy and they do offer great feedback. The sides on the phone are rounded, which make it far easier to hold, and you can see the audio jack at the top with the secondary noise cancellation mic. Now if you move to the left, you have the hybrid SIM card slot, so you can either use 2 separate nano SIM cards or 1 nano SIM card and 1 micro SD card up to 128 gigs to expand storage. And at the bottom of the device you have the primary microphone and the single speaker here, and you also have the micro USB data syncing and charging port. Now this entire phone is made out of metal. There is no plastic part at the back, and you can see you have that camera module right there. You have a 13 megapixel camera and it's flush with the surface. The phone, as I said earlier, does feel good to hold in hand, and you have a 2.5D curved glass at the top, which makes touch response slightly better. Now at the top you also have a proximity sensor with the 5 megapixel front camera. Just below the display you have the fingerprint sensor embedded within the home button. Now this button has actually quite a lot of functionality which we'll talk about. Now again, this display has great viewing angles, excellent color reproduction, and seems quite bright as well. But then again, I'll reserve judgment on that till our full review, see how it performs in direct sunlight as well. Now talking about that fingerprint sensor, it's pretty easy to set up. Does take a little bit of time though, but when you are set up, it's actually quite accurate. Just see right there. Just press on it a little bit and it wakes up the device. It's not the fastest front-facing fingerprint sensor, but it gets the job done every single time. Now the rear camera also does capture images pretty quickly. You do have a robust manual mode available where you can control focus, you have control over exposure as well. Now you can record 1080p videos with both the front and the rear camera, and one thing I noticed is that if you want widescreen photos, you have to go down to 3 megapixels, which is a bit less, but then again you can always crop 4:3 shots. Now here are some of the camera samples that we took at the event. These do look quite alright, especially given the lighting that we were around. We will be testing the camera out later on in our full review. Now let's come to software. So this phone is now running Flyme OS, which is still based on Android 5.1. Yes, it is quite outdated, but they have simplified it quite a lot. Gone is the tabbed interface in settings and all the default apps. It's far more intuitive, far easier to use, and yes, it feels a bit like stock Android, at least in that aspect. Now we just have the 16 gig variant right now. In India, we are getting the 3 gig RAM with 32 GB of storage. USB OTG works on both devices, and there was plenty of free RAM available even on this device, so on the 3 gig variant there will be a lot more. Now theme support is also baked in here. You will get themes in India now, which is again a great bonus. Lot of customization. Now if you swipe from the bottom, you have access to the task manager or the app switcher. This has been redesigned as well, and it's far more intuitive now. Now let's get to some of the functionalities of that home button. So first of all, it's a fingerprint sensor. Then if you tap on it, it behaves as a capacitive back button. If you press it, it behaves as the home key. If you long press it, it behaves as the power button. So now there are 4 functions built into that single button, and it is very intuitive to use. You have control over color balance of the display as well. So those were some of the neat features of Flyme 5. We will be testing this phone out in greater detail later on. Now web browsing was also pretty good on this device. You can see text looks absolutely crisp on this 1080p display. Apps did open up quickly. The animations are quite slick as you see here. And even after opening so many apps, if I just go back and check Chrome, it's still loaded in memory. So overall, at least memory management does seem to be pretty good. Now if you guys want a quick comparison between the Meizu M3 Note and the Xiaomi Redmi Note 3, do hit that like button to let us know. Now just to give you a brief, I felt that the Meizu M3 Note is built a bit better than the Redmi Note 3. The Meizu M3 Note felt lighter and it is slightly thinner than the Redmi Note 3. There will be an in-depth comparison when we get the device for review. Now the Meizu M3 Note has been priced at Rs 9,999 in India for the 3GB RAM 32GB storage variant. It will be available in grey, white as well as gold colors on May 31st on Amazon.in. I'll have a link in description for that. Registrations for the flash sale are already open. I just wanted to say one more thing. Even with that 4100 mAh battery, this phone actually feels quite light. We don't know whether this phone supports fast charging or not. That's something that you would have to wait for. Anyways folks, that's it for this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, do mention them in the comment section. Do hit that like button, share, subscribe. We'll be back with more on the Meizu M3 Note. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.